It's just okay. Uh-oh, we're live. OMG. We are live. It took a little bit. Yeah. Oh, you okay there, bro?
He's got a frog in his throat.
Do you have bronchitis?
No, I do not.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, I'm immune to this kind of stuff as a Floridian.
Oh, that's okay. You and all the what they call them snowbirds that people come to Florida for. Yeah, the older people.
We had that H1Z1, man. That ain't nothing. I have no flu.
Yeah.
H1Z1. Wait a minute, that's not right.
Yeah, I meant H1N1. That's what we called it.
H1Z1.
They were zombies.
Yeah.
I am definitely not coming to Florida now.
Exactly.
But welcome everyone to another episode of the BRAHcast. I hope you enjoy your stay because today we have a special trio of guests. We have the entire lineup of the Game Buffet here with us today. So food.
Clap for yourself.
Yeah, woo, Game Buffet.
One clap. I'll clap.
I love when we roll deep, man. I love it.
Wait, JayDub, do the DJ horn. There we go.
that's the dance hall bullhorn.
Yeah.
But food, you're the creator of the buffet, correct?
Yeah.
You don't sound confident in yourself.
Well, I do.
Sure.
I am. I always think about how the Game Buffet, just the name, is like the most genius thing I ever came up with.
You need to pay, mate. You need to copyright that.
Look at that pat on the back. It's genius.
No. I'm saying,
man.
Just the name, man. I had to have done something good in my life.
Man, you're so up yourself.
If his head can fit in this chat room still, you know, it's all good. But no, man, tell us all about it. Tell us what your goal is with it. Tell us about your co-host and give us the 411 on the Game Buffet.
Basically, I was just looking to do another podcast. I used to do a food cast back then. It was a diluted, overly saturated market of fanboys who consistently use their knowledge to
sell your
push a narrative, and I got tired of all that, and I wanted to talk more about video games and how good it is, and these the love letters that these consoles are to us, and what they bring to the table and experiences. So I just needed to find a couple fine gentlemen that were just as in love with gaming and the medium as I was. And I was very lucky to come across a very willing and knowledgeable and talented crew between Saab and Sincere. So I just kind of did like a whole rebrand thing and try to bring a different taste and I want to be that channel that people go to educate themselves. I love teaching this kind of stuff. When someone asks me about something, I end up telling them like a 40-minute thing, and then
it gets annoying sometimes.
All they ever do is ask me what kind of batteries a controller takes, and I'm like, well, that, after 40 minutes, I'm like, and that's how the invention of Duracell, that's just how I am. So it's just really to educate, and I have a great time discussing things with Saab and Sincere. So that's about it. It's a good time.
And we don't just cover gaming, really. We also cover all sorts of entertainment, like movies, especially.
We're not going there today. So.
The DCU,
especially during like dry seasons. When we have these droughts, we definitely fill the gap. I mean, there's always something to talk about. We may not know what it would be topic wise, like to put beneath the thumbnail, but we make it happen. It's not like we never have anything to talk about. Our pre-shows are just as much as a show. If anything.
We should have our own separate pre-shows as put it on YouTube.
Well, I know another YouTuber that would hit live and they would do like a 5-minute pre-show and then just cut it. At that point, they would just pretend like they weren't live, and some people like that.
If I were you, I'd hit live and not even tell us that we're live.
I think I've tried doing that before, and
can't get me.
Yeah.
We've probably had so much dirty laundry, it's unbelievable.
Can't get me. I look at that corner all the time. As soon as I say go live, I shut up.
Man, as soon as it goes live, Sincere, he fixes his tie.
He's ready.
He shines his ball.
Gold chain gamer.
he takes out that chain out that box.
Yeah. Whoa.
I don't walk around the house with the chain on. I wait till it go live and then I put my chain on.
Yep.
It's kind of like
giving away the secrets.
That's your Green Lantern ring, you put the chain on and you become Sin.
Yeah, I'm not Jeffrey. I'm not Jeffrey anymore.
No more Jeffrey. Bye-bye.
It's like your alter ego.
Yeah. But who are your friends here? Who's this English chap? Hello.
Introduce him. That thinks I sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah. Use the Force, Luke. Damn, I wish Craven was here tonight. He's really good with impersonations, but
yeah, shout out to Craven.
Thoughts and
prayers to him and his family.
Yeah. It's a bummer, man. I hope everything goes good with his father. That's a
I heard about
scary
that.
situation.
It is. Especially for parents.
Yeah. My mom had some issues, not too far back, and man, that scared the shit out of me. Whew.
Is everything good now?
They haven't done the surgery yet, but for the most part, everything's like keeping in. There's a hole in her muscle lining, so
God damn.
Stuff could come out of her at any time, but she's been cautious about it. Like, you need to lose some weight, and then we'll get back there and seal it back up. But yeah, just thoughts and prayers of Craven, and
thoughts and prayers for you and Craven, for everybody, family.
I know, right? A lot of family loving in this podcast.
We love family.
Yeah. Family is number one, okay? Gaming is number two. It's family.
I'm sure somebody out there is like, no, NPD says that.
NPD says family gaming is the worst.
Shit, box one.
BG charts, damn it. It still says the 360 is number one.
Family has never came in first place.
Oh.
Damn.
I see guys all the time that are over here dropping VG charts numbers. I'm like, dude, mute.
But the VG charts never been like an official way to gauge what a game or console sold. So it's like a guess, right? Aren't they guessing?
Yeah, it's a guesstimate, right? Because especially when you don't have any numbers, I mean, some numbers is better than zero.
Yeah,
right.
A lot of these numbers we haven't had. I mean, Microsoft stopped giving numbers like back in 2015, so we just don't know.
It get to a point where the numbers don't matter no more. Am I tripping when I say that?
Nah, no. I agree with you. They don't matter, right? I think the consensus is, I mean, Microsoft is focusing on next generation. Let's face it, they're focusing on next generation and how they can better, do services and games and stuff like that for the people for the future. Numbers and all that stuff at this point in time is irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
It's entertainment, right? It's for entertainment. This whole console war stuff,
wars
is for entertainment only. And yes, there are some guys that
I'm about to say that's not everybody.
There are some guys that are walking around with AR-15s full of magic bullets, thinking that this war is real. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, guys. It's great to have fun with it, but some people take it too far. I
want it to go back to the Genesis does what Nintendo don't days, where people
that was
right.
But see, that's the company's beat.
That was the companies. They used to go hard at each other.
But they probably thread and two people that one on one side and one on the other, and they called each other all kinds of shit, and you're like, man.
Yeah.
The thing is, the companies are probably really cautious about what they put out these days because they don't want people killing each other over it.
I mean,
that's true.
At one point, that people said that consoles period wouldn't sell. Don't you think that they probably happy that the console space is healthy right now? They care about competition, but they kind of don't care because it's like, man, who thought we was going to sell this many consoles today? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. You can't believe those analysts, right? Because these are the same guys that said mobile is going to take over. People don't want consoles anymore. Gaming is going to be on the phone. And this generation, we've proved them wrong. We came out way more than they thought we were, and I mean, right now everything is basically outselling its predecessor at the particular day and time. So,
I do want to say, like, I know this sounds crazy, but we got two very negative things going on right now in the world of gaming, and both of them come in the form of net neutrality being repealed, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the other would be is that people discover and educated themselves on what Bitcoin is and how to mine it. And so these are two big negative things, but and this all circles back to what you said about consoles not going anywhere, and we're not gaming on cell phones the same way that we do on console. But I think this kind of prolongs, and I'm okay with this, but not the majority issue, like the bigger picture. But I'm okay with the fact that these things prolong the console lifespan. Because I think with net neutrality being repealed, what that's going to do is it's going to be really prohibitive and restrictive, and the consumer is going to reach data caps or slowdowns or slow lanes, and we're not going to be streaming games like some companies would like for us to hurry up and do.
Oops.
And two, mobile phones aren't going to reach the graphical capabilities quite yet that they would like, because GPUs are twice as costly now, just because of Bitcoin.
I still can't believe I can play GTA San Andreas on my phone.
That is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
You got to realize this though. It's like I got an iPhone X and it has very powerful GPU and CPU on it. But at the end of the day, I do not want to play I don't want to play my games on my phone. It's great if I'm traveling or something like that to play,
if they gave me a modular piece that I could attach to the Lightning and fold it like a clamshell, like they do the 3DS, and I could open it and I'd be all over the mobile gaming aspect of it. But it'd have to be games tailored for the mobile experience. I'm not trying to play Skyrim on my iPhone. I know people like doing that on the Switch, but I used to be a Switch owner, and I knew that I had to play mobile on the go in little bits. I didn't have 4-hour game sessions on it. I would play about 35 minutes, at most.
I've got the Razer phone. That's literally a gaming phone. I've not played any games on it. Yeah. I've just got it for the
because you're a snob. I
think your phone. I think your phone has become, it's a phone, and it's for taking pictures and videos and stuff like that. I think that's the bulk of what people want to do. As far as a full-fledged gaming experience, I will always be a console guy, and maybe it's because I'm an old school gamer.
Did you just say unfortunately?
That's not an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, for some people, right? Because some people could say the opposite. They could say, "Oh, you're just a dinosaur. You don't want to change with technology." and I get it, right? I get it. I don't want to turn those guys down, but at the same time, again, I enjoy these console launches. I enjoy being excited about going to get a console and bringing it home, hooking it to my TV. That's the way my gaming has started. That's how I want it to end up. I don't know if that changes. I'm just gonna stick to my PC and just strictly go PC for my gaming. At least I know it's consistent, right? I know my PC experience will be consistent, and that's not gonna change.
Man, I don't know. This Bitcoin thing is changing a lot of stuff right now with PC gaming.
It is, but you got to realize, right? It's still a fad. You can't.
I hope it is.
I wouldn't bet. At the end of the day, I think GPUs have gotten to the point where we can get a great experience on not having. You don't have to go out and get a 1080 Ti or any high end AMD GPU to get a great experience. You can go and get a lesser one that you can hit 60 frames, you get 1080p, you can hit 1440p, and you're good on all your games.
Nobody's going to be okay with the notion It's not that they're buying. Okay, let me say this. So think of a different way to say it. Nobody looks at the situation and goes, "Yeah, I could get this GPU and play at this, and it'd be a good time on my PC." It should be half the cost, but I'm okay with it being double the cost. Like nobody's okay with that right now.
I get it.
I know people that are turned off by the idea of making or building a PC right now just because they know the price of that should be about 30% less.
I think I think this price increase is short term anyway. I don't think it's
exactly.
I hope it is. I really hope it is.
Look, I don't think it's going to be short term.
I think it is. I think it's very short term. For one, I own, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and I own Ethereum, EOS, and Ripple. So I own digital currency, and I think that this is it's short term, right? So
that's why you're going at it while you can.
Yeah, there's like 1,500 different types of currency, digital currencies out there.
Good Lord.
The bigger ones are going to just swallow up the smaller ones. The smaller ones are going to go away. This is only temporary. These Bitcoin miners and stuff like that, there is a finite amount of digital currency that you have, the amount. So it's not like this is going to go on forever where people are raising up prices of video cards, instead of $500 to $1,000. People are just mining and they're making money off of it. That's what they're doing. But I think I read an article where AMD and NVIDIA agreed to start making some specifically for gamers in the OEM. So they're going to give them first bid. So when you go to buy Alienware, Asus, or whatever kind of video card, you can buy it directly through them, and that way you can get that better price and not be stuck with going to Best Buy or Micro Center.
Stops them from doing that themselves, though.
That inflated price.
Because when people are buying
because they're only going to sell you one, right? They're only going to sell you one. What happened is people are making a run. They're going to buy 4 and 5 of them at a time to build these mining rigs. It's not just one guy that just wants to go and buy one GPU, because one GPU is not going to make you're not going to be able to mine a lot. Right. But it's the people that go and buy 4 and 5 of them, and then they keep buying more and more and more. That's what's, and obviously
But at that point, I think like what stops somebody from making a new email account and just signing and buying another one off a new email?
Yeah, but it's different. You talk about spending $10,000 at a time.
I mean, at that point, they might have to change it so you can only have like 1 or 2 per address or something.
I'm just trying to think of the ladder.
What they're trying to do now is make cards specifically for mining.
Yes.
Like that's the next move that like NVIDIA is going to do. Yes. They're probably AMD. If NVIDIA has any success selling mining only cards, then AMD will follow. So
and that way you can separate the gamers from, because you got to realize gaming is the main reason these particular cards sell. It's specifically for gaming. And if you're into workstation class graphics and software and stuff like that, then you would get the different type of GPU and stuff like that. So again, we know we got the Xbox 2 and the PS5 and all that stuff coming out, right? I think these guys are immune to it. I don't think they're going to be affected by it because they cut the deals directly with the manufacturers at bulk. The only people who are affected are us, the system builders who want to go out there and
play games.
And play games.
The fastest frame rate and the highest resolution and all that good stuff.
Yep. So right now, if you want to save money, go with an OEM. Go with someone like Dell, all these other companies that make PC, they specify. That way you can get the better price because they already locked in the price.
I think that it's affecting the console manufacturers more than we believe, and I think that really shows in these mid-gen refreshes. They opted to do some custom work, to do some overclocking, which would stop them from having to dip their toes once more into this market of very pricey chipsets. And I feel like that this is going to affect them a little more than we think. Like, okay, so let me say this. So right now, let's say what you said is completely true. We know it for a fact that they're not being affected in price. This company, who they partner with, AMD, would still have to have enough manpower to now not just supply the demand of gamers or their business partners, but now a whole new market. And so what that does is, because they're what is it? I don't know if they go through Foxconn or where they make their chips.
Foxconn and TMSC.
Okay. That's Texas. Isn't that Texas? That's TMI.
It's a Taiwanese semiconductor. They got basically two foundries. You got Foxconn. That's a foundry that they have all the machines that'll make all the chips and all the small chips and stuff like that. And then you got TSMC. But you got Apple, right? So Apple, they license, they put in an order for all these chips, and it's made either through Foxconn, TSMC, or even Samsung has their own foundry. So, I hear what you're saying. It could, but at the end of the day, companies like Apple, companies like Microsoft and Sony, they spend way more money on the hardware, and they will get preferential treatment. These are sales. Yeah, these are sales that are going to come 10 years down the road. Look what the Xbox with the Xbox One X, the S, and then the Pro did. Right, they had these refreshes, and these guys already, when they cut the check, it's like, hey, I'm going to plan on using these particular chips for the next 7 to 8 years. So I'm locking in the price right now. And if you notice with the Pro and the X, the architecture, they didn't change much. So it didn't really cost much of anything. It didn't cost any change. They didn't change the architecture, like if they were going to a Ryzen or something like that. So they don't have to pay more licensing fees and more, other kind of fees and stuff like that. And I think this is why the companies originally stopped going with dedicated GPUs. I think the 360 with NVIDIA, the whole debacle with that is the same reason that they probably won't do it again.
No, they definitely learned from their mistakes with those chips. But
yeah,
I don't know. You can say that now, and then I don't know, because the market is so weird right now. That's why I'm kind of, I don't know, a little hesitant, man. I just built a streaming PC, and I went to the store. I wasn't going to buy some elaborate GPU to stream on, but man,
cha-ching.
I feel like somebody in the store offered me $1,200 for the graphics card I have in my PC now.
Damn.
Well, because look how much money they were probably going to make off of it, right? I know guys that make $20 and $30 a day just by leaving their PC on and letting them mine.
Can I ask a question? How does that shit work? How does the Bitcoin mining work?
It's probably that's a conversation right there.
It's probably
Is that what you want? You want BRAHcast to turn into
no. They buy all these GPUs and make these supercomputers, right?
Everybody puts their inside of a I can't think of what it's called.
It's a cluster.
Okay.
So here's the quick and dirty, right?
All right, yeah. Give me a
PCs.
Quick and dirty is going to take 3 hours.
No, this is going to be real quick.
Your PCs are basically banks.
Yeah. So you have these PC. It's running specialized software on it, and its only job is to crunch mathematical complex equations. So there's a problem out there. Let's say there's a problem you need to solve for this. Well, all these PCs get together with this software, and it all crunches and it tries to figure out what the answer is to this complex problem. But the more PCs you have, obviously, the more pieces of the puzzle that you put together. What a lot of people try to do is put their money together, rent data centers that has clusters and clusters and clusters of servers to do this same thing. So people are trying to make money left and right. So your GPU, it's very GPU intensive. So your GPU is running at 100% the whole time.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it uses power, right? But at the end of the day, you're making money off of it. So you have you kind of weigh the the good versus the bad.
Way that it's profitable is, you know, the smart people out there, they got a hold of or already are investing in solar panels, because you can't possibly make back the money that you're spending on your energy through Bitcoin. So you got to have some form of like alternative energy.
Well, that'll save you some money, but you got to realize it's not just having one PC that stays on. If you have like 5, 6, 7 of them, and you're able to get, you know, through the mining, you're able to get $30, $40 a day. That's of money, just $30, $40 a day doing nothing, just by leaving those things on and letting them run. And then so over a week, over a month, I mean, that's a nice chunk of change. So the incremental cost of your electricity is nothing compared to how much these people make. This is why they're willing to invest, you know, let's say $500 per system times 5 systems when they can make their money back within that first month.
That's insane.
I would need.
My brain hurts now.
I would need. Not that I don't believe you, but I don't believe you.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm only speaking through experience, right? I'm only speaking through experience. So.
Nah, I mean, I heard similar shit. Like, and I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, listen, dude, I play video games on PCs. So I mean, they explained it to me, and I mean, yes.
I mean, if you think about it, it does make sense. It makes a lot of sense.
It all makes sense. It's just that I don't think that it's cost efficient unless you're doing something to conserve energy in that sense. Because to have a 100% always going PC, look at their wattage, how much they use. I mean, it's
only
absurd.
thing that's really okay. So your CPU is sipping energy. Everything else is sipping energy.
Right.
The only thing
There's
that's
not much RAM.
activated
You don't need much
100%.
RAM.
Yeah, you don't need RAM. I mean, this is why these guys will take any and every video card. It doesn't matter if it's a low end or high end. You don't get more money from having a 1080 Ti than you would having some cheap mom and pop GPU. Obviously, you want a good one so it can mine better, but you don't get brownie points for having the highest of the highest video card, and that's part of the problem. This is why people are going out buying these mid-level cards.
Anything, yeah, like 480s or 580s.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what's funny is that the PS3 used to do this with
SETI at home.
Yeah, that's right.
They had this app that you would put on the PS3 and you would leave it on.
Yeah,
and
it's called folding.
It was all go.
That's basically what we're doing with this stuff, right? That's basically all it's doing. So here's the thing. Let's say my computer, my set of computers that I have, if I was the last person to figure out the equation, then the piece of the bucket, the pot, I get the biggest bucket. I get the big piece of the pie of the bucket. So I get more money. I get way more money because I solved the equation. But there's probably 1 million computers out there that's helping to try to solve this. So this is why clustering, let's say me and Brah had 5 computers apiece clustered together to try to figure out the problem. And I mean, people do this all the freaking time.
Yes.
So
sounds like too much work to me.
Yeah,
Some guy.
As it relates to gaming, I think this is a very short-term problem that we have. It's easily fixable. And I think the companies are already working on solutions for it. But it's trust me, guys, it's gonna die out.
I think it's something that will go away within a year.
I just don't think money dies out like that. You know, there's money to be made, and look, I think it's going to grow up in popularity because next year we're expecting to have a slowdown, and the financial markets. You know, when this happens, the banks are the bad guy, and I mean, and it's not for no reason. They really are terrible people up there.
Yeah, but you got to realize digital currency is different, right? So it's not regulated by the banks or anything. It's not.
Yeah, but some states are. I'm not saying that it's regulated by the banks, but some states are regulating, and some cities are regulating Bitcoin. New York started regulating Bitcoin, and the first Bitcoin bank ended up shutting down and leaving the city because of how regulations were weighing them down.
They don't want digital. They don't want that to interrupt their regular fiat currency, which is money. They don't want that to be affected by it. So,
and that's the point I'm making. So, like, once digital currency right now looks like the bad guy, but when the markets take a dive, everyone's going to be looking at the banks once more. They're not going to trust the banks. They're going to be like, "What do I do?" And then they're going to be like, "Well, Bitcoin," and then they're going to get their asses back into that market. That's why I think it's not gonna go anywhere, because the distrust, the nastiness over all this is gonna come back. You know, Saab over there, he has Brexit going. That's about.
Don't talk politics, because podcast will.
We're coming for you, Saab.
You know, it's gonna affect the markets, and then now we got these tariffs on steel and aluminum affecting. It's just the market's gonna turn into shit, and everyone gives it a year.
You know what's going to happen, right? So let's say this bubble collapses. Let's say it goes away. Now you have all these guys with all these damn GPUs that they can't use for anything.
Yeah.
Now the prices. Now it's going to have an opposite effect. Now people are going to be buying GPUs from people at little or no cost, and then the companies are not going to be able to sell any GPUs because nobody's going to be buying for them.
No, we're gonna find them in a landfill with ET cartridges.
Behold the
eBay.
Let me know what
Trust me, eBay is gonna be swamped full of them.
Yeah, but they're gonna be all worn out and all that.
Nah, GPUs don't generally get worn out.
No, if they're running at 100% all day, every day, that's gonna.
No, but that's what chips are designed, right? Before we get the chips to put in our PCs. What they do, they take it, put it on a test bench, and they run these. They put stress tests on these things for months at a time. So they put that wear and tear because they know
they try to break them.
Yeah. And the ones that actually break, they'll disable the broken cores in it and then sell it as an i3 or i5 or something like that. That's just kind of what they've always done.
They don't try hard enough. I'll tell it to figure out what pi.
They try hard. Trust me.
Yeah. So you
figure out pi. Boom.
Yeah.
Explode.
This is why you're able to go get an aftermarket cooler or water cooler and overclock the thing by gigahertz and have it to be stable, because they've already did that. They already did
the work for you.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
He said,
we're finding all kinds of cool shit out tonight.
Yeah, they especially with like processors.
Yeah.
With processors, you know, they strain the hell out of them because people do so much different stuff with them. You know, a video card. It's but so much stuff you can do with a video card. Even though a video card technically has a processor in it, it's the same kind of.
You guys don't realize an i7, an i5, and an i3 are all the same freaking chip. They just disable the instruction sets in them. So it's made by it has the same everything in it. They just stress test it, figure out what's the max that it'll hold, and if it holds the max and it's an i7, they'll enable the instruction sets that allow it to be an i7, and then anything that fails under that, then that's how you end up with the i5 and the i3. So
damn.
What's your GPU chat for the night?
I know some people are like, I don't want to hear this shit.
There's this group of like hackers that have been hacking people's Android phones. And what they're trying to do is use their Android phones when they're charging at night to use their GPU to help them mine Bitcoin.
Damn,
that's smart.
I thought
that's dumb, but that's smart.
Had a bit of a dive recently, didn't it?
Huh?
Wasn't Bitcoin at like $19,000 recently? Then it jumped down to like 10
in December. In December, it peaked around 20 to 21.
Damn.
Now, just for disclosure, I have 3 Bitcoins, and trust me, when
you bought them or you mined them.
No. I bought, but I bought when they were like $400 a piece. So I've been.
Wait, so how much is one Bitcoin worth now?
Right now, I could check my phone. It's probably sitting around 11,000, 9 to 11,000.
You need to cash that.
I know, right? That's what I was thinking.
He gonna hold it out. He might.
You need to get a nice new BMW.
No, so I cashed. I sold 2 of them when they reached 20, and then when it went all the way back down, I bought more. But yeah, I can tell you guys exactly right now how much Bitcoin is going for $10,792. And just this past day, just for today, it went down $477. But that's normal. It fluctuates. Yeah, it fluctuates.
Yeah, that's a drop in a bucket in comparison to what happened in January.
Yeah. Imagine it being $20,000 and then it dropped, but nobody ever thought.
It's literally, it's pretty much the stock market.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
But in this is why, right? This is why a lot of the guys at Wall Street, they want digital currency because it's so much more money to be made. But at the same time, they can't regulate it because it doesn't go through a bank. It's all, everybody's computer. It verifies through every single person's computer. So all your transactions, you can be anonymous if you want to. They don't know, they don't know that this money belongs to, Kratos or, or Brah.
Are you sure about that? Because I thought the big thing about Bitcoin was that every single hand that it exchanges is kept on record on each Bitcoin.
That is
no, it's the computer. Okay, so every single computer, it matches it. So if I hand you one Bitcoin to your address, this is your wallet. Your wallet is that address. If I hand that to you, that is matched across all the computers to verify that transaction is spotless. So it doesn't go through a bank, and the bank doesn't sit on it and say, okay, well, I'm going to tax you on this fee and that fee, and you got to do this. It doesn't do that at all.
But what do they call that group that regulates all that shit? Like they got a name for it.
The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, think about it. There's over 1,500 different digital currencies. Some of them are allowed in the United States. Some of them are not. Even China right now is cracking down on some of it because it's causing their currency to to kind of fluctuate and stuff like that. So, but that's the good thing about it. This currency, when it first started, drug dealers and other people who wanted stuff off the books, they were trying to clean money that way. They were keeping money in digital currency, trading it back and forth and stuff like that overseas, obviously without paying, much of any fees, and it was untraceable. Now, if you want to transfer your money from digital to fiat currency, which is United States dollars or Europe or whatever, then you're going to probably have to go through some bank. But if Brah say, hey, I'm gonna give you this, you just pay me in Bitcoins, then I just transfer the currency straight to his digital wallet, and it nobody knows about it but me and him. It's totally untraceable that he's the receiver and I'm the one who gave it to him.
You can go ahead and do that, by the way. I will not say no, Kratos.
Yeah.
Well, you will not say no to receiving, I'm sure.
Yeah.
This was an interesting PlayStation podcast where we talk finances and
you never know what you're gonna get on the broadcast, man. You never know what you're gonna get. But it does relate to gaming, right? Because of this stuff, I mean, we can't freaking go out and build a PC without spending an arm and a leg for something that would have cost us $300. Now we got to pay $1,000.
When all this stuff dies down is when I'm going to start building a PC because those graphics cards are going to go really, really cheap.
Yeah,
and look,
upgrade when that happens.
Me and Sincere, when I was looking at gaming PCs, I was asking him for his advice, and Alienware offered a complete push to one of their top of the line GPUs. And correct me if I'm wrong, Sincere, but it was for $50. For $50 that I could upgrade to their top of the line GPUs, but to do that in store, you're spending hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah, he was upgrading from a 1060 to a 1070 for $50.
Yeah, remember now, I stated that this is why if you want to get into the PC, go to OEM like Dell or and HP and all these other. Go to the companies that they're known for making PCs because they have these parts already sitting on the shelf ready for you. So it doesn't cost them any more money. Now, if they try to go, they don't have to buy it through Best Buy, right? Best Buy have to buy them in bulk and, and do what they have to do to sell it. So obviously those prices get fluctuated. But if you go to those big companies like that, they're already gonna, they already have the part, so it's not gonna cost you much of anything. But if you want to build it from scratch,
they bought
then
them in
that's
bulk, and they sitting there, they ready to put them in one of those. What is that? I buy power.
Yeah, I buy power.
I buy power, or what's the new thing everybody's on? Origin or something like that. Like these Origin PCs, that's pre-built. So I mean, anybody building a PC right now, you just buy a pre-built or wait, one or the other. Don't build a PC right now. They're gonna charge you crazy money, unless, like Kratos said, you go through Dell or somebody like that. But a lot of people might have the same idea right now, and I'm not sure about it.
And to tell you the truth, guys, there's really no benefit, right, for you to build your own PC parts from scratch if you plan on gaming, because you can get it cheaper and you can get the same 1080 Ti or 1070 or whatever. You can get it cheaper by going through Dell or something like that. And I mean, at the end of the day, your CPU and your GPU is pretty much everything. So,
I mean, because that was the draw of you building it yourself, was that you was getting it for a cheaper price by building it yourself. And now that
exactly.
The window, that shit is gone. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm talking dude in store. I'm sitting there. He's asking me, so what is in your game piece? I got a Asus ROG Strix 1080. He's like, you have a 1080 in there? He said, yeah. He said, listen, I got 1100 for you. And I'm like, so you want me to drive back to my house?
Yeah.
Pull it out of my PC and sell it to you. And he's like, yes, I want to. And I'm like, no.
Jeez.
No, I'm not doing it. You're crazy.
Because how much did you pay for it?
Sold it to him.
I mean, I paid significantly less, like $560 or something like that. Maybe
I'd have definitely. I'd have sold it him. I would have.
Saab would have been driving 80 miles an hour home.
Yeah, but look, he would have sold it, right? And he would have turned around and had to spend that same profit just to get it back. You see what I'm saying?
To me, it just didn't feel like
it wouldn't worth it.
Nah. Yeah. Now, if he said some astronomically silly number, but 1100. Nah, I was like, dude, in that time that I probably wouldn't have a GPU, I would be missing out on doing stuff. Like the power of my PC would significantly go down. So say if I'm editing a video, I was rendering videos at 10 minutes or whatever like that. Now it's taking like 30, 40 minutes. I'd rather had the time than the money, and had the money in the back end. Sometimes you can't take the money in the front. And I'd rather take it on the back end. So I was like, nah, dude, I'm not doing that. He's like, you sure, man? I really need a 1080. I'm like, why 1080? He's like, listen, he was so into mining and stuff like that. This was a guy at Micro Center.
Yeah.
So just randomly scouring Micro Center looking for cards and stuff. Like,
yeah, he's looking to spend that money, man.
What's my man that was scouring Best Buy, stalking him?
Oh, Tim Dog?
Tim Dog. Yeah, that's how he was scouting Micro Center. He was stalking Micro Center looking for people with GPUs for sale. I'm like, nah, dude. I'm chilling.
With binoculars and stuff.
Yeah.
Like stood behind a tree or something.
I'm like, this guy is crazy. But hopefully that don't affect the Microsoft and Sony and Microsoft and Sony buying like APUs from these companies. It shouldn't.
It's not, man. They spend billions, and gamers spend millions. These corporations spend billions, so of course they're going to be able to get come on. Temporary profits is nothing compared to long-term profits.
Right.
And that's just corporate America 101.
Because I know AMD dropped this APU that I just grabbed, the Ryzen 2200G.
Yeah.
And man, for $100 APU, I'm playing just about every game at least at 30 frames per second. First person shooters I can get up to. I'm talking about 1080p. I'm not talking about crazy. But if they able to do that with $100 APU for public consumption, I would imagine that Microsoft and Sony getting their hands on stuff that's just crazy. Like if AMD able to do this now, Intel's on some bullshit right now, but AMD is pulling this off.
Just imagine if the Pro and the X had that had the CPU,
right?
Had got rid of the Jaguar and they upgraded to any kind of
That was a big mistake.
You talking about?
I don't think so, right? I'm gonna tell you why I don't think that was a bad idea. Is okay. You can always try to chase PC performance, but there's always gonna be something around the corner that's gonna make. Even watch when the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox 2 drop. Guess what? The day that they drop, they're gonna be underpowered compared to the PC. It's just you can't keep chasing performance. You're always gonna lose. This is why they need to. This next generation, make sure you give people 60 frames locked. No wavering. 60 frames locked. The resolution can be whatever it want to be, whatever the developer, but those frames have to be locked because there is no reason in this next generation that they should be able to give us that. But that's my opinion. What you guys think?
But we've reached the time where consoles were more powerful than PC for 2.5 years.
Yeah, but that was what, almost freaking 15. Yeah, that was like over 10 years ago.
Tech evolves at different times.
Yes. That was remember, right? So when the OG Xbox came out, it was a Pentium 3, 733 megahertz. Yeah. That was more powerful than like 99% of the people. Yeah, even if it wasn't custom.
Custom means like overclocked and all that other weird stuff.
Yeah. So that was like never. That was never. It was just unheard of to be able to have a gaming system that outdid pretty much everyone's PC. Well, then you move to the following generation, and it wasn't as powerful as what the most powerful PC was out there what guys are gaming on. In this generation, even less. And next generation is going to be less. It's just.
Do you think that's because PC culture as a whole just kind of took off? No. I believe it's all because we as gamers, there's a threshold, and that comes with budget. We're not willing to budge when it comes to budget to get those gains. Remember when the OG Xbox launched? How much was it? Wasn't it like $299 or something like that? Mm-hmm. It's like $300.
Yeah, that was the highest that a console has been for a long time. No, I'm not talking about like Neo Geo and stuff like that. But
we have to adjust for inflation too.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we can do that, but like at that time, it's like, man, that was a lot of freaking money, and that was the highest end tech stuff. Plus, you got to realize Microsoft took a big hit because this was their first console to get into the market. They tried to outdo with the power. They tried to go up and beyond.
But it wasn't power that cost them that much. It was their most expensive part in that console was the hard drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because again, the day and time of where they are. Well, right now, hard drives cost little or nothing, like pennies on the dollar. So the only bottleneck now would just be: are we willing to spend $5.99 on a console, or are we just stuck with $4.99? It's all up to the gamer.
They need to show it.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not to speak for everybody else, but I think, because what they able to market right now is 4K, because there's already 4K marketing out in the world. Like when you go to Best Buy, 4K. Half of people buying this shit don't even know what they buying. They just know 4K is better than whatever they had before, right?
Yeah.
Right.
How do you market 60 frames per second?
Yeah.
You know what?
Smooth.
It's gonna be
the
weird.
ultimate experience.
It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird, right?
They're gonna put a bottle of lotion on your console box, like it's smooth.
Right.
I don't know how
this next generation is gonna be ultra hard for them because most people have a Pro or X.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have to see a graphical leap that's far up and beyond what these consoles can do. If it's not, people are just going to stay with what they have.
That's the thing is with like you were saying, are we willing to pay $600 for one console?
Yeah.
If consoles were that much, it would just be an enthusiast console, so we'd know what frames are. We'd know what 60 frames per second means.
That's what the X is. That's what the Pro is. It's an enthusiast system. Everybody else has they're happily fine with the S. They're happily fine with the PlayStation Slim.
But I think by the time the new generation Xbox comes out, I think the X will be the one
mid-tier.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because like they said, like generations aren't the same as they used to be.
That's very true.
Okay, this was the first time that we got these big of a leap when it comes to mid-gen refreshes. Generally, it's just the console is sleeker, it's cheaper, it's smaller, or maybe
I think it's just gonna be more refreshes.
I don't
know, man.
I don't see it. I don't see it anymore, right? No. I just don't see that because
this is a mid-gen, letting us know, signaling that it is the middle.
Yes, we got three more years to go before we come with a new generation.
We should be seeing a new PlayStation 5 according to history and according to where they placed the PS4. We should be seeing it, not buying it, seeing it this year. I don't want to say E3.
I love hardware. I think
next year.
And we should be getting it early next year.
I think
next year. Or
PSX
at the earliest, right? PSX at the earliest. That's the end of the year. Because you got to realize, the reason I say 2019 at the earliest is because that's PlayStation's 25th anniversary in Japan, and then 2020 will be the 25th anniversary of PlayStation in America. So give or take, deal. Yes, that they're going to want to play that up. I wouldn't be surprised if the PlayStation 5 looks similar to the OG PlayStation, just for the nostalgia purpose.
Ooh,
even the color.
That'd be sweet.
The color.
Maybe color wise.
Yeah.
But they can't.
Of course,
so I don't mean like looks. I mean like
right.
They're going to do something to build on that because this is a special time for them.
No, I don't think that they'll do that for the permanent model. I think that what they'll do is like limited edition, like 1,000 consoles, and you got to buy them for $800 billion on eBay.
But I don't know. The PlayStation 5.
They already did that with the PlayStation 4.
They might just go old school gray with the purple, the blue.
Yep.
They might just.
They can have that because they can have that as an option, but they better have a black one as well.
Of course they have other colors of it, but man,
I don't know, man.
Who wouldn't want that classic gray?
Exactly.
I don't want that.
I don't want it.
I got it right here next to me, and it's ugly.
Let's be honest, guys.
Look, I would.
Listen,
nostalgia.
You think that OG Xbox look good? That thing is a big block X.
Yeah.
Do
you want the next? You kill somebody with that thing.
How many people are buying the damn new Duke controller again?
They're
streaming over that. So
that tells you.
That tells you nostalgia. Like people,
nostalgia, man.
Nostalgia is a hell of a drug, man. Yep. Like people will go crazy.
But no one's buying the Duke controller to actually play games with it.
They just want to look at it.
Yeah, but
just hold it in their hands. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah.
I get that with Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was that way for me.
Yeah, you're right. I think we can all agree, right? They're probably going to do something special.
Yeah, they'll have
the 25th year and anniversary.
I think they'll do limited edition, limited run consoles with that color.
Speaking of price, when the OG PS3 launched. It launched at what, $4.99, $5.99? I think
$5.99.
$5.99. I bought it. Yeah, trust me, man.
Yeah, I grabbed it too.
And that was back in those days. So imagine.
I say no.
Probably closer to $750.
That thing very quick.
Yeah. So
that's probably around $750 now.
Yeah. If you for inflation, yeah. Whew. So look at it that way. And now keep in mind. The system didn't actually sell a lot until they brought the price down to $399. Till they brought the price down. Put it like that. I don't know, man. I don't think Microsoft or Sony are willing to risk that initial failure of overpricing their console. We can say, "Yeah, bring me the power. I'm willing to pay for it." But come on, we're the minority.
that's what I was kind of telling people when the X came out. You know, I mean, it's no secret that I'm not a super fan of the PS4 Pro. I think the PS4 Pro is kind of shitty, but the X came out, and I was telling people like, this is gonna light the world on fire, and I'm like, I don't know, you kind of got to be an enthusiast.
Yes.
So what if
spend $500 on a console you already have?
So what if say the new PlayStation comes out, like the PlayStation 5, and they have a PlayStation 5 Pro straight away, like day and date with the PlayStation 5?
Oh, you're saying
that.
like
that's
your
DOA
model and your gamer models.
Yeah, like
right.
the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus.
They've learned that. They've learned their lesson with the PS3. Remember, there was 2 SKUs for that.
No. He's not saying 2 SKUs. He's saying 2 models. Like I'm one's more powerful than the other.
Yeah, like one's an enthusiast version.
I think that'd be a great idea because there's some people that don't want to.
Failure. It'll be an epic failure. You know why?
Yeah, I don't think
because right now, this is the problem that the X has, right? You got this powerful console, but it's kind of held back due to the OG Xbox and the S. You're going to end up with the same thing. Developers won't be able to push that. I mean, what more are you expecting out of a console besides 4K? I mean, what else can they give you?
Well, in that case, I think PC gaming's holding gaming back. Because
you see?
PC is being held back. PC is being held back, right?
Yeah, but look at
PC gaming is not being held back. I mean, the thing is flourish. Aside from the whole Bitcoin thing, it's always been flourish. Like no one makes the PC version of it worse than the console version for the sake of unification. They take advantage of it.
You must have heard of a game called Batman. You must haven't heard of all of these games. You must haven't heard of all of these games that come out running like dog shit.
Oh no,
on
PC. I'm not saying that there's games that don't come out running terrible on PC.
Yeah.
I'm saying they weren't designed to. Like they're not to be held back means someone in a boardroom decided that would happen. But these games that come out bad, that's just poor development or not enough time or bugs or.
But let me ask you this though. Let me ask you this. If a company paid a PC developer to create a game specifically for PC, specifically for the highest end video card you can buy, let's just say a Titan or an AMD Pro Duo, the highest of the highest end you can buy. If they built a game like Crysis, remember back in the day when Crysis came out?
Oh yeah.
Pretty much no PC could. Exactly, pretty much no PC for like 5 years to run that game decently. I mean, literally like 5 years straight. After all these video cards came, they could not run that game.
That game still looks incredible.
And it still looks incredible. But what I'm saying is developers won't do that now because they want to make money. And they know that there's only a fraction of a percent of people that have that specific system. And that's why consoles.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not PC gaming being held back. That's like saying, okay, I'll say that enthusiasm is that the right word? Enthusiasts are being held back because they're for the lack of better words, I'm going to say their fetish, is not being satisfied.
Yes, that's perfect. I'm glad you worded it that way. Now I agree with you 1,000%. That way, that's what I meant, right?
There's these weird things that go on in people's head, and I'm guilty of that. I'm weird like that. Like I like the idea of ESRAM, and people, it has nothing to do with my life. It don't affect the way I pay bills. It don't affect the way that I worship. It don't affect the way that I eat a sandwich. Right. Yeah. But I when they came out with Xbox One X and they were like, we got rid of ESRAM. I'm like, no, like, I want it.
Why?
I want it. I like the idea of that memory is on the same die, like the same chip with the CPU and the GPU.
Yeah, I love that. This was the problem, right? The ESRAM is really fast memory. It was really good, but the problem is it was such a small amount, and it's very expensive. Even if they would have bumped it up to, let's say, 512. Let's say, if they would have bumped it up to 64 megabytes or whatever. If they would have bumped it up, it would have made a big difference. But it's so expensive, it wasn't really worth it. So they got rid of it and they just went with the regular DDR5 or 4 or whatever, and that kind of fixed the problem. I mean, they had no choice. Here's the thing with console gaming, right? The only thing that's going to limit our experience when it comes to gaming is the cost. They have to try to cater to us, give us PC performance at peasant price. And it's a payoff, man. And we're expecting, I mean, think about it. All of these people out here expected the X to make the PC obsolete for $499. It's like, are you serious? You can't be that crazy you need to lower your expectation based on how much money you pay.
Yeah, but those are the people that don't. I'm walking around, so sorry if it sounds like I'm down a hallway. But those are the people that don't really, and it's okay. But they don't really follow gaming. They have a Twitter account, but that don't mean that they follow gaming. They tweet about things that are not correct about gaming, but it don't mean they follow gaming. You know, they think that the Xbox was supposed to do that, or even let's say they're not extremists or that ignorant, but they still think the Xbox has this big prominent role in somehow affecting a PC market. I think
that's Phil Spencer's fault.
Well, no, I don't think so.
Who said uncompromised 4K gaming?
Yes, he did.
Their marketing did that. Their marketing, they overpromised. They in so many words, right? Because it's a lot of it is kind of hard to nail them down to, but we know what they were aiming at.
But that's up to developers. I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but if a developer aims to have
he shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it then.
Absolutely, I agree. But if
you're setting yourself up for failure, right? Because the first game
marketing.
But I've said that. I've said the first game that wasn't 4K and that looked compromised, they're gonna take a hit for it. This is why they should.
Even I was disappointed, and I knew that it wasn't compromised.
Once Digital Foundry got a hold of that X, it was. I mean, once Digital Foundry got a hold of it, that was kind of like game over. I mean, they ripped it a new one because they said it's a great system, right? And it is a great system, but we were expecting what 4K 60. We were expecting the highest quality pixel.
We talked about this numerous times. I mean, us, you know, on the Game Buffet. You had to be crazy to expect that every game was going to run at 4K 60.
But some people are that crazy because a lot of people Xbox said it.
They're the people they were selling sand in the desert.
Listen, if you tell me something, right? If you tell me tomorrow it's going to be clear sky and it's going to be sunny outside, and I wake up and it's raining and it's storming, can you blame me? Like, you told me that, and I was expecting that.
It's not just anyone saying it; it's the head of Xbox saying it.
Yes, the weatherman is saying that it's going to be sunny outside, and I walk outside in the morning and it's storming. Like, I'm going to hold him accountable for that. I'm like, you idiot! Why did you? You know, I made plans to go do this, and now my plans are changed, and it's kind of like with the X.
But that's the plan.
I honestly know.
Base for dummies.
I honestly know people that have went and they sold their gaming laptops because they knew that there was no need for that with the X coming. Yes, because 6 flops is higher than what they have on the video card in their laptop.
So they counting floating points now. That's another thing, the teraflop thing. So if people are really counting floating points, they're tripping.
But who promised? But who told them about T flops? Who told them about that? Phil Spencer now, like Microsoft.
Most people don't even know what a teraflop is.
I know that.
It wasn't Phil Spencer. You know that it was the PlayStation camp.
Okay, well, maybe it was Yoshida. Maybe Yoshida told them that. I don't know, but the mere fact that
Spencer rode the bandwagon though.
Yeah, listen. Expectation should have been set. Therefore, disappointments couldn't have. Like, for example, when the Switch came out, people knew what they were getting with the Switch, right? You know, you're getting a handheld. You know it's going to be compromised in some area. You know what to expect. Nintendo never came out and said you're going to get all these T-flops. They never said any of that. They just said, we're going to give you a different way to play. And it is what it is.
But you know, they really steered away from the specs of that console and sold everybody that the games were going to be the big selling point on purpose. Because when people found out early on what was inside of that thing, people was like, you know,
they were like, oh, hell no, this week.
That's a tablet.
Exactly. And technically, it is a tablet.
It is a tablet, yeah.
It is a tablet.
Games really soothed everybody over. Once Legend of Zelda was not even released, but once the reviews came out and people was able to get their hands on it and everybody was talking about how dynamic this game was, that's what really kind of sealed the deal for people on the Switch, because it was like, okay, well, damn, if it's running these great games, then I'm cool with it. Plus, you know, the nostalgia factor, the ability to take it from the house to the travel, that's what ultimately sold it on it. But if early on, when they first released it, those specs came out, imagine Twitter then.
Even putting specs into play, I think the fact that the Switch is more as powerful as it is, and it's a tablet, is more impressive to me than the X being as powerful as it is.
You have an X, right, Saab?
Yeah.
You love it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So you know,
you love it.
all I was getting at earlier was that those people, they do not know what the console, the One X was about. It was about, and the One X is about what the One S, what the Xbox One, what the 360, what the one before that was. It's all about trying to stop Sony from gaining market share in the living room.
But that's not. But if you're trying to stop Sony from gaining market share in the living room, don't you got to release something that makes people forget about Sony for a minute? Like, to be honest with you, we haven't talked about any of the news that happened this week, but what it felt like to me was every time Microsoft stuck their head out the door, Sony slammed it shut. Right. That's what it felt like.
That's subjective. That's subjective.
Listen, they said, okay, we got these backwards compatible games that people.
He's right.
For.
Oh yeah, PS Plus, Smart.
Yeah. They said, well, guess what? Now
Horizon,
we got Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank, and they even snuck bad news underneath it, and people didn't even care about that. They tried to snuck in. Well, ain't no PS3 games coming out no more next year, but take these two great games and slam the door in their head, and then something else happened. I can't remember that Microsoft did, and then here comes the Detroit Become Human release date, slam the door in their head. So how are you taking market share from them by releasing hardware that realistically, I don't even think people truly asked for? I don't think people say. I mean, people were talking about power and all those things, right? But a year or two in, nobody knew they was playing at 900p. Everybody's eyes is not built like that.
Yeah.
To know pixel density.
Now,
foods are sitting there.
Food eyes is built like this, right?
I mean, I can tell too. I can tell when I can see the Jaggies.
Look,
but Jaggies never stop nobody. Listen, Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the highest selling games of all time.
Yeah, but it hurts my eyes.
It hurts Jaggies.
Yeah,
it's a million Jaggies in that game.
Yeah.
In fact, if go play it now on an Xbox One, OG Xbox One.
I agree.
It looks just as bad as the Xbox One X version of it because there isn't an X enhancement.
The dog shit out of this game. Like, people love this game.
I think we're gonna see the fruits of this though, of their labor in just a year or two. Because I think
that's next gen territory though.
I think that they're gonna be doing what the PS3 did. The PS3 picked up traction in late, what was it, the second half of 2009.
Late in the generation, you mean?
No. Not late in the you got to that's
2009. They picked up in sales. They were doing nothing. It looked like they were going to fail.
Listen. Wait. For the first 2 years, the PS3 didn't do anything.
Exactly.
They dropped that price. The third year, they started releasing games, and I can't say that enough. Games. And they brought the mind share back, and they were able to, at the end of the generation, they were able to come back and surpass it globally. Now, keep in mind, this is 5. We're pretty much 5 years in, guys. I mean,
I think we was longer.
It's over, right? This generation is pretty much over. Let's call it what it is. This generation is over.
What?
This right now, Microsoft and Sony are focusing on the next hardware and the next services and products that they're gonna. There is nothing unless Sony just goes out of business that Microsoft will be able to come back and get that mind share back.
But do you think? But do you think with the next generation, it's going to be a clean slate and everyone's going to forget about the Xbox One?
Nope.
No.
Look,
I think about it. If they sold 40 million consoles, nobody's forgetting about them. Like the only reason, I mean, okay, listen, I ain't gonna lie. The games lineup is pretty shitty, but 40 million consoles is a good number. They had mind share.
I meant like when the next generation starts, is Microsoft and Sony going to be on an even playing field again?
No. Even if they dropped day and date, right? Let's face it, guys. There's an anchor that Microsoft is going to have to overcome, and that's the mind share of people. Think about it. We've had 3 consoles this generation from Microsoft trying to fix a problem that either existed or didn't exist, and it didn't really help much, right? Now you have to worry about Nintendo because Nintendo is coming up the rear in sales and possibly finish this generation out in second place. How do you tell those people who spent $500 and then $400 and then another $500 that, hey, trust me this time, I think I got it figured out now. I think we're gonna take care of you now. It's gonna be harder for Microsoft. I'm not saying they can't do it. They're walking uphill where Sony is already like on cruise control. It's easier for them, right? Because they got the numbers, they got the people globally. Last generation, they were able to fail for 2 years straight
and still
came back. So it's I don't know. I mean,
don't you think that's a benefit of them, the previous generation, having the highest selling console of all time? Like they earned that.
But they got cocky though. They got cocky. They got cocky, and they figured that, hey, our previous console did so well, we can charge these guys 3 times as much as this previous console, and tell them to go out and get jobs.
You'll get second job
to be able to afford it.
No,
and people said, the hell out of here. You don't even have Rumble in your controllers,
right?
Let alone trying to get me to pay $600. And they got bit in the ass, right? And then the mere fact that the PS3 was launched a year after the Xbox 360 didn't help.
Right. Because people had already seen what the next generation was going to hold, and they didn't offer nothing that looked any different, to be honest.
Exactly. Now, here's the thing. You got 2 premium consoles. You got the PlayStation and you have the Xbox. How do they distinguish themselves from each other? That, if they're the same, if they look the same, they got pretty much the same games.
We all know.
People are going to go with the cheapest.
Exclusives and price.
Yes. People are going to tend to go with the cheapest console, and they're going to go with the games that they can't get everywhere else. So Microsoft, if they bring back the exclusives, and if they maybe they're able to undercut the PS5 this time. If they can, that's going to help them a lot. But they gotta have those exclusives. They can't just rely on third party. We saw that with the X now. Yes, the X runs third party games better, but at the same time, right now, people are choosing the Switch over the X and over the Pro. So, obviously the power is just the wrong way to go by doing it, because Nintendo, I mean, who knows? They may launch the Switch Double XL or some shit.
Double XL.
Double XL.
With barbecue sauce.
And they may beat the PS5. They may beat the new Xbox 2. I don't know. We just don't know.
I think Phil Spencer's the right person to for the next generation, because he was steering a sinking ship this generation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be honest with you, I like what Phil is doing right now, to be honest. Like, if people don't really like what he's doing, see, when they get mad about the games thing, right? State of Decay or whatever the new flavor is, right? When they get mad about these games, they gotta realize that games take a long time to develop, right? And the company you work for, Microsoft, has to fund these games. They have to fund these studios. Now, Microsoft has been open about not wanting to fund shit they got to do with Xbox. So these games not going to come out of thin air. You know, these is not going to magically pop out there. Sony has already devoted money.
That's why they need to
and things to make video games.
That's
so
why they need to buy Sega.
They need to buy a lot of shit.
Sony already said they're going to double their efforts with the first party titles. So
but that's
like, geez, guys,
they already there.
Yeah, I know. It's what more can they do?
Microsoft need to buy Sega and EA.
They could do a lot of things, man.
They was trying to slam their heads in the door this past week, so they start saying ridiculous things like, "We're doubling down on exclusives." Like, duh, we already know that.
Yeah, they were doing that regardless of what the competition was doing, but they're just going out there and saying they're basically trying to go out there and assure you that they're the platform because of that. And
the insurance is there.
It works. It works, guys.
But look, I'm only being combative because this is just the kind of guy I am. Because there's too much praise being tossed around. Like, yes, they have great games, and yes, I've been playing more on PlayStation than I have been on Xbox. Yes, but I still remember. I'm gonna start with number one. Sony or PlayStation does not give a shit about me or my bank account, my bank account's health. I'll say that.
Listen, I don't
but that's all corporations. That's all. Microsoft don't. They're not doing this stuff just because they love us. They're not. They're doing it because they lose. I
completely understand that. But we got an extreme with PlayStation where they don't let you. They ban your gamer tag if they deem it offensive or they don't let you change it. Like, they don't give you an opportunity to change it. They don't let you play your games from that you purchased on an older account, or if there's a transaction made that wasn't you're not allowed to go through your bank. If you go through your bank, they're gonna lock your account. They want you to go through Sony themselves first and see what they could figure out for you instead of going through the bank, because they don't want to reverse that transaction. They do a lot of shady things that they could easily change. I use the same example in everything that I use that pisses me off. I tell people we went to the moon in was it the late 50s or 60s? Mm-hmm. We went to the moon with a computer that was 8 times weaker than the PlayStation. Yeah. And in 2018, we got Donald Trump as president. We got PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 5 on the horizon. You know, and they can't you can't let us change our names. You lock our accounts. That
we're not supposed to be coming.
But listen, the base, right? The base, the PlayStation base. Obviously, they don't care about that because they're pushing almost 80 million.
They care. They care.
They care. But what I'm saying, they don't care. They don't care to the point where they're like, "Oh, I hate this company. I'm gonna just focus. I'm just gonna go to the competition." I mean, that's just not working. At the end of the day, a gamer cares about games. If you give me a game, I could care less about all the other crap that you're dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I'm not really a gamer, then yeah, I care about all this other stuff that really. I mean, it's like I'm gonna tell you this: God of War drop. Days Gone drop, The Last of Us drop, all these other games that come out drop. Those are games that people are actively waiting for. People would camp outside for these games. They care about these type of games. That's where the mind share is for the Sony fan base, for the PlayStation fan base. In a lot of respects, PlayStation, they could change a lot of stuff. They could do a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, people only care about those games. The moment they stop delivering those games, is the moment they're going to throw PlayStation and Sony to the curb.
I completely get that. But all that these problems derive from an actual game. I mean, nobody's upset unless it has to do with a game. I mean, we're talking about the locking of your purchase of a game. And why I brought this up was because we're talking about what PlayStation is doing versus Xbox, and I see Xbox giving refunds. I see Xbox letting you try a game for.
What if they win in this generation?
I see.
But they're not. Yeah. This goes back to my point, right? What they're not doing. What is the one thing that everybody is begging for on the Xbox side? Give us the games. Give us the game. We don't, again, you can get away with a lot of stuff, but you cannot get away with not delivering on the content, which is basically. But
we have let's say PlayStation 5 didn't, or PlayStation 4 didn't exist, Nintendo didn't even exist, and the Xbox catalog stayed the same. This catalog would still be the biggest catalog ever. Mm-hmm. And you see what I'm saying? Give us the games, but right now we're at a point where we have a good problem, but it's a problem nonetheless, where we have too many games, and I know people tweeting about games that they want and they don't go buy it, or they play the first 2 hours of it and they stop, not because they're whatever's going on in their life. It's because their next game that they were looking forward to just dropped, and now they gotta stop playing this game so that they can play the new game. And then the next game drops. I'm not trying to. I'm just being devil's advocate here, because I see I see where the negative of too many games comes in, and so when I hear people say, give us the games," I'm like, how much more do you have?
I think the word
exclusives.
The wording is wrong. You're talking about you don't get, you can't play nowhere else. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So you take a game. Okay, I'm sorry, brother. Hypothetically,
you don't get
God of War comes out.
Go ahead.
Right? And PlayStation owners are playing, right? They're sharing all their footage. The game looks amazing. And then the Xbox players say, well, we have Sea of Thieves coming out. And listen, I played Sea of Thieves, right? I didn't play God of War, but I played Sea of Thieves. And I'm telling you, the eye test, it does not pass the eye test. Like, now, it might be a fun-ass game. You sit down and playing it. But if I'm a kid or I'm 15, 16 years old, forget that. I want to play that. I want to play the God of War. It even sounds the God of War. Sea of Thieves. It doesn't correlate. So, and this is not like a knock, because I'm going to play both games. That's
same here.
I'm just talking about the eye test for the normal average person that's going cheapest console and just say, I have $200 or $250. What console do I get? And they say Sea of Thieves, and they say God of War, and you like God of War, easy. You know what I'm saying? They need a game where that's not that easy. You know what I'm saying?
Is there still nudity in this game?
Totally agree.
That's the selling point that
it is still nudity.
I was trying to think of the selling point.
Nah,
wait, was nudity supposed to be in the game?
You talking about Sea of Thieves or God of War?
No, not Sea of Thieves.
That would be hilarious.
It's pretty much a M-rated game. I mean,
but I'm just saying, like, listen, Sea of Thieves actually might, we don't know. As a multiplayer game, it might be a blast. It might be funner. It might have longer legs, than God of War. But let's just talk about the eye test. They don't have games that's visually appealing, especially if you're talking about buying a $500 console that has. Where is the visually appealing game? Like,
I think Gears 4 is pretty damn good. Gears 4, Forza 7.
But those are the stable, right? Everyone knows Forza, Halo, Gears, and Forza. That's the stable. That's not going anywhere. Most people like myself have been playing Halo since college. Yeah. So that, obviously, I mean, when you've been playing it for freaking 15 years,
still good.
It's still, one of the best shooters out there, but it is what it is.
Different.
Yes. We want different experience, right? So you got to, like he's saying, it's eye stimulation. When someone comes over my house, I pop in GT Sport. I'll pop in Gears 4, Forza 7, but then I'll turn around and pop in a game like Uncharted or Horizon Zero Dawn or but you pop in all these exclusives and they're like, man, what game is that? Oh yeah, you can only get this on the PlayStation. He's like, fuck, now I gotta go out. Now I gotta go out and spend this money if I want to play that game. This is why
exclusives matter. In Gears 4 was perfect proof on why you have to have exclusives, because no other developer, no third-party developer is going to wring every ounce of performance out of your system like your studio.
Mm-hmm.
You take a game like Horizon Zero Dawn, a game like God of War, you take all these games and you know that this game couldn't have been done anywhere else but by these guys, and these guys, they pretty much own this hardware. They know everything about this architecture and how to wring every ounce of performance. You got 4.2 T-flops worth of processing power that is competing against 6 T-flops of power, and it's able to maintain and not get clobbered. So, you know, resolution fluctuations aside, you know, 1800p, you know, whatever.
It's
you
the
know,
devs,
it's the devs, man. And that's one thing that Sony has, right? They believe in having their teams and their people in ton of them. Microsoft, on the other hand, has kind of gotten away from owning stuff. They to the point where they want to spend money and buy stuff, but they don't really want to own anything. And we've seen that, how they kind of wind down a lot of their studios. They kind of got rid of a lot of stuff, and it's like
got a lot of fat.
Yes, I hate to say it, but you're not going to be able to go out and buy hits. You're going to have to create hits.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Druckmann himself said that at PSX. He said it took us, you know, it took 10 years to build up the team that we have to be able to give you quality games like this, because you can throw a bunch of people in a room together and they're the best at what they do and hope for greatness, but you can get some garbage.
That's very true. And I mean, listen, they do have 343. They do have
Coalition.
10. They do have Coalition. So they have
but these games only make
not,
literally one franchise.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't think they're allowing them to spread their wings and do what it is that they can do. Because I'm pretty sure guys are sitting there with crazy shit.
If you're not a Gears fan, if you're not a Forza a racing fan, and if you're not a Halo fan, what else is there for you to be like, hey, you know, that's the thing about it, right?
That's why I think that's why I hope this Fable room is true.
I think next gen they'll let their companies, they'll let their devs kind of open their wings and finally create something different.
I mean, Playground Games.
You like this gen, yeah.
I mean, Playground Games are supposed to be making a new Fable game.
Yeah, that sounds.
They don't even own Playground Games.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, right. Not yet.
They better buy them.
And I hope all these rumors are true, right? I really hope they are, man. I really hope they are. But here's the thing: I'm asking myself, and this is why I said earlier in the podcast, I think Microsoft is already over this gen. They're working on next gen, because these games are going to take years to develop. This is not just, hey, we did this, we did this, we did that. Okay, here's your games next week. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Fable 4 is probably
it's going to take a couple of years for any of those games to come to fruition, and we're already sitting at the end of the generation. So, I mean, what are we going to be getting for the next 2 years? What are we going to be getting? Now,
they had some missed opportunities, though. You're talking about like Crackdown. Before E3, people was genuinely excited about Crackdown 3. I was one of them.
I mean, I'm still excited about it, but
not like I was before. I ain't gonna lie.
Everybody who's excited for Crackdown, pretty much the only thing that the reason that they're excited is because they want to see the multiplayer and the tech that was promised with the cloud.
I want to see it. I want to see
it. Let's say if the cloud doesn't exist. Let's say if for some kind of way, Microsoft just came out and said, okay, well, look, we tried it. It didn't work for this generation. We'll try in the future sometime. Wouldn't that let the air out of the tire? Because people have been waiting for 4 years for this game because of what they saw running on the PC with the whole cloud technology and the buildings collapsing.
That was their main selling point for the game.
Yes. But if that is gone, right? Because you're trying to sell this game. You know, everybody's been talking about the cloud and waiting for it, but Microsoft only shows you the single player, which doesn't have that stuff. So it's like, why would you show me the worst part of the game and not the best? Are you not trying to sell this to me?
I'm still annoyed that they showed that Middle-earth Shadow of War footage. They showed 5-10 minutes of footage. That should have been Crackdown footage.
Yeah. But that's the thing. I think they were a little, you know, they knew something was up with Crackdown before we did. You know, like I think they really knew, because I was searching high and low for Crackdown stuff, and all I got was that Terry Crews.
But do you think? But do you think this delay that Crackdown's got? Do you think it's enough time to
6 months?
I mean, they got to do.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if they can fix that art style.
What can you really?
I don't think the art style was the problem. I think that they didn't show what makes the game fun, because graphically, that's how Crackdown is. So,
what I saw looked fun, because I'm a huge Crackdown fan. What I saw looked really
I'm
fun.
talking about the multiplayer portion.
Yeah, Food's over here. What?
Well, no, I genuinely want to know, because when I've seen what I've seen, I just seen a well-built game.
What did you play the other Crackdown games?
I played the first one, and what captivated me was the use of the colors, because in high definition, which was new to us at the time.
Yeah, but you would say that.
Yeah. Oh,
but no, I'm talking about the multiplayer portion. The multiplayer portion was what they touted, was what they talked about for years. They didn't talk about that single player game. Nobody was looking for it. People were looking for the multiplayer.
I was looking for the single player.
People wanted to knock buildings down.
Yes,
that was the promise, that I can shoot a building at its base, at its foundation, and it will fall. I can get a kill that way. Yeah. That was the promise. So when you get the game and Terry Crews pop out there flexing his muscles and hollering, and you don't see what it is they promised, yeah, that's disappointing. Like, that's like, well, what am I? I didn't come here for Terry Crews.
Yeah, but it's Terry Crews.
I want to see a building fall.
Terry Crews is pretty cool.
With the X, they should have been able to deliver the graphics of the that CGI trailer. Because the game we saw, right, they showed us at Comic-Con, the game that we saw at Comic-Con, when they displayed it and let those drunk people play it, that game looked like the OG Xbox version.
Yeah, it didn't look too good.
It looked the same. It's like it didn't evolve in no kind of way. It said nothing about it said next gen. Now, this is why we're waiting for the multiplayer to be shown, so we can see the, now I can get over the graphics, right? I can get over it not having groundbreaking graphics. I can get over that. Great gameplay and stuff like that. But this whole game is supposed to be based off this tech that can only be done with the power of the cloud and all the stuff that you showed us. Like, you should have told us a long time ago, guys, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. Let's move on with this. And then people's expectations will be set. But now it's 4 years later and you're hiding it. I feel like they're hiding it.
They just revealed it too. They revealed it too.
That definitely feels like a game that's being hit.
It's trust me. If you want to sell a game, guys, you show the best part of the game. You don't show the what people don't care about the game. And you also don't let a bunch of drunk idiots showcase your game. You should have had the developer show it in a closed environment, showing you how it's meant to be played. This is why Microsoft has been stumbling this whole generation. I get it. We can talk about the narrative was because of the power and all this stuff, but let's face it, they kind of did it to themselves with moves like this. When you can't sell me your game, that is your problem. That's not some fanboys on the internet. That's not Twitter. That's not Digital Foundry. That's your problem. Your only goal was to sell me this game. You showed me snippet of it with all the technology and the buildings collapsing, and everyone was like, this is freaking nuts. I can't wait to play it. 4 years later, this game is still DOA, and we know nothing about the multiplayer, and they won't dare speak about it.
I just hope this E3 doesn't focus all on Crackdown, because that was last year's. That was a job for last year. I want to see new stuff this year.
I feel you.
I'm going to tell you guys now, right? I'm going to tell you guys now. I honestly think this game is going to go the route of Sea of Thieves and State of Decay. I think it's going to be a $30 title, and
it won't be $30.
I think it's going to be.
I'd be surprised if it even comes out.
You think they're going to cancel it?
I have a feeling they're going to cancel it.
Ooh, let me say this.
That would be
when I went to E3, I didn't see it anywhere.
Well, look at Crackdown. No, I mean look at Fable Legends. We had an open beta that actually worked. That you could play.
I had the beta. I was in the beta of Fable Legends, and knock on wood, but I'm gonna tell you this: that game was the best looking Xbox game I've seen to date, bar
and
none.
It played, and it worked.
It played beautiful.
And
all they had to do, right, was the protagonist mode, that the defense mode. They needed to change it where you weren't playing it with a tablet and crap. Just make that mode the same as when you're playing with the hero, and you had a great game. I mean, it was the graphics. I still have it on my Xbox right now. I still have footage from it. The game was beautiful. The lighting, the art style. Now that's freaking art style. That's something to showcase. This other stuff, I don't know, man. I don't know.
This is why I think. I mean, we were further along in Fables Legends dev cycle, if that's the right word, and they still cancelled it. Look at Crackdown's Twitter.
Look at Scalebound.
Look at Crackdown's Twitter page. Look when they last tweeted. Why aren't they marketing the game?
It's like 3 years ago, probably.
No, it's like at least.
No, it was like about half a year ago.
Yeah,
but that's the problem.
Damn, are you serious?
Yeah.
Terry Crews isn't even talking about it, and he's the main guy.
He got other issues.
Oh damn, son! Fable Legends did look pretty good. I'm watching the trailer. I'm watching some gameplay footage of Fable Legends right now.
Well, in Scalebound, let's bring up Scalebound, right? This game, when you go back and look at that gameplay, and then you look at Monster Hunter, you can say to yourself, these guys could have had a Monster Hunter on their hands if they would have followed through with it.
And I'm glad you said that, because when I seen Scalebound, that's what my mind went to immediately. And it wasn't just for the fact that I'm seeing it on Xbox and the more powerful versions in comparison to Wii U. Like, it was because Wii U did get the last iteration of Monster Hunter. And although it was a great game, and I played the hell out of it and I loved it, it was more of the same, which when you're a Monster Hunter fan, it's really weird. Monster Hunter fans are really okay with more of the same because it's just so good. It's more of the same goodness. Mm-hmm. But seeing Scalebound made me think of it right away, and it capitalized on that formula, and it was trying to get the best of what there was to be offered in games like Destiny and open world / linear type feel like Monster Hunter, and they had everything there, and that's what I felt like was what was needed, and it was a Japanese game at that, and it was a new IP at that, and it was different for what Microsoft has given us. It's everything that they needed, and to that. It sucks. It sucks that it went down the way that it did, because it wasn't even. It was completely out of their hands. It had to do with the studio spending Microsoft's money. Like,
we don't know exactly what went down.
Yeah, but
we're going to know in 10 years when Phil Spencer's not the PR guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm watching some gameplay footage of it too. You know?
Okay, so so let's give him that. Let's say Scalebound should have been canceled because of valid reasons outside of Microsoft control. You still, I mean, that's
another problem they keep.
You still got Fable
too early.
You not only got rid of that game, which I thought they were working with something. They were maybe a year off from releasing something.
Wasn't it microtransactions heavy though?
I mean, at this point in time, who cares? Like, we'll take any Microsoft game.
But I feel like they're reading the hand of the future, and they did well. I mean, look at how frowned upon more so it is now than it was last year, and then from the year before, and then from the year before. It was something that we're taking. Look, console gamers, we're idiots. Like, we are that girl or boy that gets slapped around by the spouse, and they say we're sorry, and we're like, we're not taking this no more, and then we're like, you know what? I understand.
Are you trying to say we're cucks?
The console gamers, for the most part, because they don't stand up for these things. Like I caught what was it, Kid Smooth, which I don't know what's gotten into him lately. He's a cool guy, but he's been tweeting crazy things, and he tweeted the other day that He tweeted, I think it was Mikey Barra. I can be wrong. Where about how about kissing our asses for like supporting Xbox because we're the ones paying for PC players to play for free. And I'm like, and I told them that I'm like that's not why they get to play for free. They get to play for free because they stand up and say no. That Microsoft already tried to charge them with games live,
right? But they also have another platform to play on that's free. That's going to be free for as long as it probably exists.
Exactly.
That's Steam. So do you want your players? You know, I mean, the Microsoft Store is shit right now anyway.
Yeah.
But do you want your your players to go to Steam when they can play this game here, or you know what I'm trying to say? Like that's the enticement of it. Well, if it's free over there, it's free here.
Yeah, I think, and that's why I say like Microsoft just kind of read the hand of the future and was like, look, no one's gonna like this if we do this. It was a microtransaction heavy game, and this is not what Fable's about.
Forza 7 had microtransactions that they took out. Remember, right when it was releasing, they got crap about that.
I don't think they took. Did they take them out?
Yeah, they did. Well, for the most part of what they were doing. I mean, you got to realize, right? I get it. All these companies are in there to make money. They see the GTA and stuff like that making all this money for all these years for the for an old game, and they want to capitalize on it. But at the same time, you got to realize, hey, that's a third-party developer. You have to take care of home first.
Right.
Nobody's going to take care of your home like you. And this is where Microsoft has been failing because they haven't been taking care of home. They've been looking for third-party. Guess what? Third-party didn't care when they dropped Star Wars Battlefront 2 with the debacle that was. And no other company is going to do that either. We know Red Dead is going to have microtransactions and loot crates and everything else in it. Do you think
it's probably going to be heavier? It's probably going to be implemented heavier than GTA as well.
Yes, but guess what? Not one person is not going to buy that game because of that.
Yeah, but people are going
to buy it.
People are going to complain, but they will still buy it.
Yeah. I don't care about microtransaction and loot crates. You know why? Because I buy the game to play the game. I play the game, and I don't spend a dime in it.
Yeah, but you got to remember, there's some game. Like, I hear what you're saying, and I'm okay with those types of games. Yeah. I got Halo 5. Halo 5, since day one, they got microtransactions, and I think
I think they implemented it really well,
extremely well. And the thing is that the game that you're talking about is the kind of game that I'd still play, just so you and I are on the same page in that sense. But you got to remember that there's games where literally your opponent can have a better weapon or live longer, because they pay more money.
Exactly.
That's absurd. You have no choice in your.
You're right.
You're not. I'm not paying. Well, then you're not winning.
Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, right? When you charge me $60 for a game, you can't have that. But when you give me a game for free, look at a game like Fortnite, right? It's a free game. You can go play the Battle Royale mode or whatever. Go play that for free. They can have loot crates and microtransactions at the ass because it's free, right? That was zero entry point. But when you spend $60 on a game, and then in order to unlock the characters, you have to play like some crazy number of hours, like Star Wars Battlefront. At first, you had to play like 200 hours just to be able to unlock like one of the characters or something. Vader. Yeah, that's nuts. You're basically holding me hostage. I've already paid you money. Don't hold me hostage where I got to pay more. So that's the difference between the two. One is free, or even a game like PUBG, right? It's $29. So I'll be half as mad as I would if I would have paid the full thing. But be fair about it. These companies that try to railroad you by charging you $60 and then forcing you to spend more just to even, have the game. And let's talk about what's the game, the Konami game that just came out, the fake Metal Gear, the fake Metal Gear that charges you to save the game for extra save spots for the characters.
Whoever thought of that needs to get slapped.
Have you guys ever seen that?
He's probably going to get promoted.
You guys ever see that video where somebody was doing a microtransactions video, and he hit options.
I saw that,
and it was like pay $10 for options.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's crazy.
That was great. I gotta look that up, man. That's a classic.
Yeah.
What do you think? What about Battlefield? The new Battlefield game coming out? Do you think EA have learned from their mistakes, or
No.
You know why?
Said that the developers are being cautious about it. Maybe only cosmetic DLC.
Yeah, I'd be fine with cosmetic stuff, but pay to win.
No, they had to have learned from Battlefront 2.
No, they didn't.
Then fucking EA's idiotic. Then
They had to have learned
something, at least a little bit of something.
Listen, they didn't learn anything. The only reason that they removed them in the first place was because of Disney.
Yep, they didn't do it for us.
Yeah,
Disney.
Now you got to realize, right? These companies, they make a flat set fee, or they pay a flat fee. Anything above what that flat fee is all profits. So they're going to try to capitalize as much as they can off of this stuff. And at the end of the day, can you really blame them? We're the idiots that buy it. There is no reason these companies should be making more off of microtransactions and loot crates than they are on the game.
Right.
$4 and $6 billion, I think Activision or one of these companies made off of this stuff. That's nuts.
Activision makes more money off of microtransactions than they have everything else.
That's what I'm saying. That's nuts. That's crazy. That tells you that we're the idiots that support this. We talk about we don't like it, but obviously there's a shitload of people out there that support it. And why would they stop, right? Somebody's giving you $4 billion. Why would you stop doing what you're doing? Why?
I mean, listen, I'm guilty. I bought VC in 2K, man.
Confess your sins.
I'm guilty, man.
It's right. This is like a round table of rehab.
There you go.
See,
we're all struggling habit.
I bought VC in Pokemon Go using a gift card. It has to be someone else's money for me to do that kind of stuff.
I mean, because I already knew that going into that game, if I wanted to play and compete, that I would have to, because everybody else, they done bought the $110 Legendary Edition or something crazy like that. And I'm like, I don't want to get smoked while I'm out here playing. So, yeah, I'm gonna spend a couple dollars.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the 20 hours or 30 hours it take to get your guy halfway decent. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I took the easy route.
If there's a way that I can level my character up without paying for it, I will. Because I like to play. I like to game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're all here.
Listen, I just don't want to be forced to have to play this game for months and months on end just to unlock something simple. And I don't want to be forced to have to pay an exorbitant amount of money for that. Now, when I play a game like Injustice 2, right? When they came out with the new DLC characters, the Ninja Turtles, I couldn't wait to play that. Yes, I could have played and saved up my in-game currency and stuff like that to do it. But I dropped that $3.99 or however much it was because I wanted to play with them right then and there. But that was my choice.
Right.
That was my choice. But and for all these guys out there who buy all this stuff all the time, and they're the guys who's supporting it, then I can't be mad at them because maybe that's just something that they see in that particular game that I don't see. That's why I don't think this stuff is going to change anytime soon because we're all guilty of it to some degree, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I was about to say. Do you think that's because these companies are trying to keep people playing their game, like just strictly their game? So buy these microtransactions, buy this extra content. Don't go nowhere else. You know what I mean? Don't play no other game because, some of these games, you talk about people sinking 200 to 300 hours in. What other game are you playing if you sinking that many hours into a game?
To be quite honest, are you saying this gen sincere, or you mean like ever?
No,
just in general.
This gen, yeah. I'm talking about this generation.
Okay,
where there's so many games, like you said, like there's so much stuff to play, and they're trying to keep people playing their game for as long as possible. So
I just know
it doesn't need to be.
It's possible though, without having to do all that. Like Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, I've said it several times that it's not. Zelda has never been for me. I've tried multiple. I didn't like them, and I tried this one, and I sunk in. I think in the short amount of time that I had it, I think I sunk in was 78 hours or something like that. And then last generation, although they had DLC, I played Oblivion for 172 hours. Ooh. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, the perfect example is Skyrim and Oblivion.
It's possible. You just,
but you know, those crazy.
Those are big open world games.
Right. It's crazy to believe that a compelling story and great gameplay is enough to get me in there. Instead, it's turned into what this is, and I hate it. Like, I mean, we're on a podcast talking about microtransactions. Like, I wish that there was. Hell, I'd take a remake of Oblivion. Like, I want that so bad. Because that's game. That's 100% game. It's not the culture behind it. It's not about finances. It's not about specs. It's not about platform. It's just so damn good.
I'd say the same about The Witcher 3 as well.
I was about to say The Witcher 3 is that kind of game, but then you take these games that you mentioned and they're like the exception to the rule. They're not normal. These aren't normal games. You know, they don't make Witcher 3 every year. You know, they don't make GTA 5 every year. You know, because I'm actually playing GTA 5 right now, and I'm like, damn, this game was good. You know what I'm talking about? I'm playing
this game is good.
I'm playing the single player, and I'm like, I haven't played it in a long ass time, and I'm like, this was such a good game. Like, they put so much stuff.
I play through it at least twice a year.
I mean, it's worth it because the game is so good. It's well written. It has characters that you care about. Like, it's so much stuff in this game that's amazing. Every company's not doing that. Look at Ubisoft. They're about to look. Far Cry 5 is about to come out, and I'm telling everybody, like, hold on to your seat. This game's not going to be what we think it is. I don't think so.
They got their own problems going on, so I'm surprised they were able to pump out Origins with all their issues right now.
I don't think that they're just that kind of publisher. Like, I don't think they're creative as others are. You know, as
really, I think they're so like I've tried a few of their games, and each time I play their games, I'm impressed because I think less of them, and I expect less of them. And then I play their games, and I'm like, wow, this is so good. You already
think less of them, like Watch Dogs and Watch Dogs 2. They're like the epitome of basic.
No, I love the first Watch Dogs game.
You're the only one.
I love Part 2. Part 1. Man,
I don't really like the second one.
Part 2 was.
You were like the only guy in history that liked Watch Dogs 1.
I don't know. I actually really like the character.
Okay. He was a piece of wheat bread.
Yeah, he was.
With dry, no butter, nothing.
Hey, don't say that to Seamus. He'll pop
my family.
Yeah, but what would you be? How would you be in that situation?
I don't know.
Are you pretty pissed too?
They could have did some more.
That's what you got. That's what you got to think about. You got to put yourself in that situation.
Yeah.
He just brought the whole game down to me, you know. And then it was just a mundane, average open world game. It's like, okay.
I mean, it did things. It did things that no other open world game did before it.
That game was DOA after they showed it at E3, and when it came out looking like it did, it was game over.
When I played it, I liked the story. I didn't like it for the graphics.
It wasn't that bad. The graphics weren't that bad, especially if you played it on the PS4 and not like the PS3 or the Xbox 360. I mean, it was pretty cool. But
those water physics, my God.
It was a boring game.
Sea of Thieves.
The stuff that
what they're getting at, Saab, is that that's not what you should have just said.
Yeah, that game is
his opinion.
But I don't think Far Cry is going to be this because Far Cry 4 had the same hype when it came out.
I played it at PSX. It was pretty fun. I mean, didn't blow me away, but.
But that's what I'm saying. I think people expecting this story to be like this deep story, and they always do this. And then you play the game, and the story's not deep at all. And it's like catfishing people, you know. So I'm not too. I'm gonna reserve my anticipation When it comes out, I will play it, but I'm not gonna.
But they had The Division, they had Child of Light, they had Watch Dogs, which was mundane. But think about mundane is their worst. They have Assassin's Creed 3, which was way more impressive than I thought it was going to be. Black Flag was impressive to me. Unity was absolute garbage. Then Rayman Legends,
yes,
which they did the right thing and took it multi-plat rather than keeping it as an exclusive. Aside from Origins, what else did they? Oh, Ghost Recon, right? Rainbow Six
Siege, yeah.
They to me,
For Honor.
To me, the worst thing they put out was bland. I'm sorry, Unity. The worst thing they put out was Unity, and that it was broken. But it wasn't boring. It was just broken. Now the Watch Dogs was the latter. It was not broken, but it was boring. But I think I'm just trying to defend Ubisoft because they've done well. They've done good.
The chat room.
What happened in there?
This guy's Fanatic said Watch Dogs at E3 looked like Janet Jackson. They released it in stores and looked like Freddie Jackson.
That's true. And I think from then on, everybody has gave Ubisoft the side eye when it comes to their games. We don't quite trust them.
I don't trust.
So when they show something, it's like we'll wait and see. Never pre-order a Ubisoft game because you just don't know.
But they learned. They learned that they showed you. They learned. EA, on the other hand, they're all in. They got the brightest minds working right now, trying to figure out how can we keep microtransactions without upsetting not the gamer, Disney.
They're trying.
But Ubisoft was like, look, we sent out a broke ass piece of shit, and what did they do? They put Assassin's Creed on pause.
Yep.
Activision has not done that. EA has not done that.
That's very true. That you are absolutely right.
Black Ops 4 could be garbage, and they'll still release.
I feel like a Ubisoft lobbyist over here, but I'm like, damn it, man! No, they did the right thing.
You making good points. You making very good points.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think of it like that. I just know that like some of the games that I played that I got hyped for, when I played them, it felt like that wasn't exactly what it was. Especially Far Cry. Like Far Cry 4 with the villain, it's supposed to be this deep game, and then like he's barely in it, and I'm like, and I feel like I'm doing the same shit over and over, which is pretty much most games. The loop, the gameplay loop, take over the tower, clear the thing. I know somebody gonna say that's Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah, it is. But they had a good story. Horizon had a good story. So it's certain things that they do. They try to sell it as being this intelligent game, and then it winds up being dumb. And that's disappointing. I'm like, especially when you're dealing with something as sensitive as what they're doing right now. The market, all that's sensitive. All that looks sensitive. And then I'm guaranteed once we play it, it's like, whatever. They cheesed out. I feel it. I feel it coming. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I got
a feeling.
I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong.
That's gonna be
good. Well, guys, it is almost 10:30 here in
Texas
broadcast land. So
Tennessee.
I think we're going to wrap it up for the night because I'm pretty sure we can probably talk for another hour as good as we've been going. I've been trying to make it a model. I've been trying to make it a habit of making the show a little bit shorter the past few weeks, and tonight just blew past that, which it's okay.
We do invited the game buffet, man.
I know it's all good, man. I'm not complaining a bit.
You know what, bro? I'm gonna have to be the time manager from here on out.
Well, man, we were all getting into it and everything. I know. I'm not going to complain because it was great conversation.
I'm going to have to stop somebody mid-sentence. Sorry. Next person. Yeah.
There's some show on ESPN where they do that. They'll be talking. The guy will just mute them.
We need that wrap it up button.
You don't
wrap it up,
but you don't know long until you've been on MLG.
Right.
We've all been on there. Yeah.
Mike go.
I'll forever give him shit for that. But damn, it's at least I will say, I don't know many people on YouTube that can put up an entertaining 3 hours. Like that guy puts up an entertaining 3 hours. Bro, I can't make myself be interested in myself for that long, man. It's terrible. Bro, I get tired of editing my own video. I had to chop my last video up into 2.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Close it out before I say something.
Man, you're good.
Yeah, like he about to go too.
Yeah.
He can go too.
But thank you guys for coming on the show. I'm glad that you all 3 were able to make it. And I have links in the description to all their Twitter pages, all their YouTube pages. But Food, just go ahead and tell us where we can find you and when your show comes on, and sell yourself, Brah. This is your time.
Well, it's basically Too Much Food. It's spelled all one word with zeros on Twitter and on YouTube. The channel's name is but Game Buffet. No numbers, no special anything, just Game Buffet. You'll see the little avatar that I got on here, this icon. And you can catch us Monday nights, usually for the most part at 9 p.m. And it'll be Sopsky and Sincere and myself. And we may have a guest or 2 here and there, but it's definitely us, and it's a good time. And you also get a moment to dabble into some old retro stuff if you take some time and surf the channel, check out the playlists. I got them compiled there for you. So if you like old stuff, I got something there for you. If you like some reviews of some games, I got a couple there, and some gameplay videos as well, and opinion pieces. I got a little bit of everything, but the main show is the podcast, and between Sincere and Sopsky and myself, it's always a good time. So you don't got to subscribe, just give us a chance, check it out. If you like it, then give us a sub. I'm not really looking for what is it, one of those pity subs where it's like, please subscribe to me. Just if you like it, make sure you check it out.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question? Okay, so your name is Too Much Food, and then the podcast is Buffet. Are you a chef?
No, not at all.
Because that would have made perfect sense.
No, it just had to do with how I got my gamer tag, and then when I wanted to get on YouTube, I was like, well, what persona? Like, what should I be called? And I just stuck with food, and to come up with something food related but keep it game related, I don't know how I came up with it, but
it's
Game Buffet. Game Buffet just made the world of sense. I just game and buffet, and I just picture, like, whenever you go to a buffet, you got all these bins. I just think about bins of games. Yeah. You sift through them and you see bins of Hannah Montana because ain't nobody buying them. Like everywhere you go, every GameStop you go to, you see the Wii version of Hannah Montana.
Yeah. No, I was just asking because I knew your name, but then when I to the podcast, I said it had to be, maybe there's a correlation or something.
I eat cereal and Pop-Tarts every morning. I can't cook worth.
He can't boil a hot
dog. But like, these ramen noodles are hard. People tell me you're supposed to boil them first. I'm like, what am I, a chemist?
Sin, do you want to talk about your channel for a minute? I mean, I know you. The Fresh Gamers.
You can find me right here on YouTube at the Fresh Gamers. I'm about to do a overhaul. Like very soon, like soon, super soon. You know, so I kind of threw the first nugget out there, and I got some other stuff that I got cooking. But yeah, man. I mean, I guess, you know, Gold Chain Gamers. Brah's a Gold Chain Gamer. Kratos is a Gold Chain Gamer. Food is getting there. He's starting to understand power. He's getting his complimentary Cuban link soon. So,
there you go.
You know what I mean? And joining the ranks. You know what it is like an acronym for saying, like, you know, the whole console war thing is BS. We could joke and laugh about it, but realistically, if you're a real lover of gaming, the gaming industry and the culture, you want to play everything.
Yeah.
You know, when I grew up, I wanted to play all this shit. I wanted to play everything.
No doubt.
You know, I didn't have the money to do it then. Now that I'm doing a little better, hell yeah, I'm playing everything, and I don't even want to argue with you because I'm too busy playing everything.
Facts.
So that's the Gold Chain Gamer thing. So
facts.
Yeah, man, that's pretty much if you stop by and check out the channel, you're gonna get a little bit of everything. So,
like I said, guys, the links are in the description for the Game Buffet's Twitter. Everyone's the Twitter handles, the YouTube pages, it's all there. So please check them out if you enjoyed tonight's show. And as always, thank you for stopping by and join the madness. And as always, brah, game on, brah.
Game on, baby.
There we go.